We've spent 5 centuries looking at this mural without actually seeing it. Beneath the surface layer of paint, a different architecture is operating. Leonardo da Vinci approached the world through the lens of a polymath. His private journals demonstrate a man obsessed with hydraulic power, flight, and gear-driven timing systems, far more than the traditional constraints of the studio. When he began working in the refectory of Santa Maria delle Grazie in 1494, he ignored the standard rules of life fresco. He chose an experimental method of painting on dry plaster, a decision allowing him to work with the slow, calculated precision of an engineer. He removed the traditional iconography that defined religious art for his peers. There are no halos here, and no symbolic markers of the divine. He replaced those theological shortcuts with anatomical data. He used his secret dissections of human corpses to render the physical shockwave of a betrayal with surgical accuracy. This raises a specific technical question. Why did a man who hated painting walls spend 3 years obsessing over the exact coordinates of hands and bread loaves? The mural operates as a piece of hardware designed with the specific logic of a master clockmaker. The first component of this system is a cosmic clock, mapped directly onto the physical environment of the room. Leonardo utilized a single-point perspective system, where every architectural line in the painting converges at a single mathematical coordinate located behind Christ's head. This vanishing point functions as a mathematical halo, fixing the central figure as the unmoving axis of the entire composition. The 12 figures flanking this axis are divided into 4 distinct clusters of 3. These 4 groups correspond to the seasons of the year, providing a structural framework for the passage of time. With 3 apostles in each group, the arrangement accounts for the 12 months of the solar cycle. This geometry mirrors the ancient language of the zodiac, where 12 signs revolve around a central solar figure. Leonardo's notes indicate that he studied the specific postures of the constellations to determine the physical gestures of the men at the table. The scene becomes a macrocosmic calendar, using the human body to map the rotation of the stars. The second component is an acoustic circuit, hidden in the seemingly random placement of items on the table. When a horizontal 5-line musical staff is drawn across the tablecloth, the bread rolls and the hands of the apostles fall precisely onto specific musical notes. These notes resolve into a melody only when read from right to left, the same mirror script direction Leonardo used for all his private records. The result is a 40-second requiem, a somber composition that encodes the passion of the narrative into an audio format. These patterns are reinforced by specific intentional anomalies Leonardo painted into the frame. Beneath Judas's arm, a container of spilled salt serves as a deliberate signal of the coming betrayal. Between Peter and John, a hand clutches a knife at an angle that is anatomically impossible for either apostle to reach. These spatial glitches and acoustic alignments indicate that we are looking at a dataset designed for decryption rather than a simple mural. Why would Leonardo embed a cosmological and musical manifesto inside a sacred mural for the Dominican order? In the late 15th century, the Church maintained strict control over the interpretation of the physical world. Any scientific observations that challenged theological dogma carried heavy professional and personal risks. Leonardo recorded in his private journals that the sun does not move, an observation of the cosmos that directly contradicted the geocentric views enforced by the religious institutions of his day. Painting Christ as a solar figure at the center of a zodiacal clock was a dangerous flirtation with heresy, and one that required a layer of concealment. The mural survived centuries of neglect, dampness, and an Allied bomb that leveled the refectory in 1943, leaving the painting standing against the ruins. Since Leonardo could not openly publish his findings to his patrons, he encoded them into the vanishing points and proportions of his most famous commission. The Last Supper remains on that wall as a blueprint of the physical laws Leonardo spent his life solving, waiting for a viewer who understands how to read the machine.